What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P, Marky D here with another Mad Monday. We're excited to be here with you guys. You guys, I hope, are excited to be with us, no matter when you listen to this. But what I can share is it's not exciting to watch Steelers football right now. And when that's your cue, Marky D, I'm going to hand it over to you, mate.
Not really. It's so funny because this, like, if you go back to what are we now? 4-3. We lose against the 49ers. Terrible game. We win 2 in a row. We sneak away. We lose the Texans, and then we're 2-2. Then we win 2 more in a row. We beat the Ravens and Rams. It looks like it's a much more promising offense with fourth quarter. They're scoring points in the fourth quarter, getting things done. Then today looks absolutely awful. Like it's this exact same. So I've kind of dealt with the grieving process already. Like I don't really care anymore because the game sucked. I think the offense was terrible. I think the defense was trying to get things done, and it's got 3 turnovers, and we still couldn't move the ball. Trubisky is not the guy for backup. I don't care what anyone says. He's just an awful quarterback. He should not be a backup, nor should he be starter.
And I want to pick up on that. I talked about in the takeaway show, so if anyone missed that, go back and look at that. But secondly, and I'll link it as well, and it should come up anyway as it autoplay after this. But his post-match press conference, I don't know. Did you hear the post-match press conference?
Yeah, I saw bits of it.
He talked about trying to push plays down the field. When he pushes plays down the field, the last 2 seasons since he joined the Steelers, it ends in disaster. Don't push the plays down the field. Because then you said, I didn't just want to check the football down. Well, you know what? Maybe a bit of rhythm to this offense when you had the ball on the drive you threw the interception. If we checked it, moved down the field and scored a touchdown, we would have only been 3 points behind. But no, you got to be this big hero and make a play. Like that play he threw across to Deontay, the commentator was like, well, they're down by 2 scores. He had to do something. It was a bad throw. You do not make that throw in the NFL. If Kenny had made that throw, everyone would have been on Kenny. You shouldn't be making that throw in the NFL. Deontay made the most of a poor throw. And the other thing that I noticed too, that why Trevor Lawrence was successful, and we'll get into that a little bit, but he was throwing so far back behind the line of scrimmage because of how good the Steelers defense is. Well, both Steelers quarterbacks were throwing, Kenny was throwing really close to the line. I felt like he could have gone back further. Mitch, on the other hand, was throwing 30 yards behind. He doesn't have the arm or the accuracy that a Kyler Murray does. He doesn't have the agility with that. And if he gets sacked back there, and the Steelers don't have a great O-line, then you're 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and you're second or third and a million. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, but Mitch Trubisky is not the guy. If Kenny Pickett's not right to go this Thursday, and they start him, forget it.
It has to be Rudolph. We are not winning a game. It's like the last year when they did it with the Jets. I didn't watch the game. I didn't wake up because I was just hungover and I was just like, I don't want to go to one to watch him. But Rudolph needs to be the guy to play. He's more exciting back there than anything else. Trubisky's not the dude. He's done. His NFL stuff is done. You don't train all week to go out there and then just be flat and not move the ball around. That sucked. The officiating was probably one of the worst I've ever seen it. Anyone, if you want to say it's scripted or whatnot, if anyone says that, don't shoot them down, because in the games like today, you look at it and go, yeah, it very well could be, because the officiating was beyond terrible. The field goal where Isaac Seumalo had his head over the line, there's pictures out there he was not over the line. The flag on James Pierre was awful. Taken away.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one. I mean, I'm not a Pierre fan, as you know, but I did.
It was 50-50 at best, and also they flagged Keanu Neal for hitting Trevor. They don't flag someone for hitting Kenny Pickett, and he got injured his ribs. Yeah. So there is, look, the offense sucked. They were bad. The same Steelers we always know recently, but at the same time, you could tell that the officiating was on the Jaguars' side. And no one convinced me that it's different. Today was point blank, right in your face.
And that's what kind of upsets me a lot, because, and it's not necessarily the officiating, but that upsets me on a different level. But the Jaguars are one of the best teams in the AFC, right? And we had it on the platter there today, and that's what really upsets me about the offense.
It was there.
The defense did everything they could, and the defense didn't play that well. Like there were plenty of mistakes they made. Like we could go through that. But the offense, like the defense, at least is doing enough to give them a chance, right? It's like your favorite saying. So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
And then the offense gets on the field. There's no chance. No. I mean that run game. I just, but I heard Dave Schofield on SCN, and he said something that any Steeler fan, like educated Steeler fan, would know. And that's like, they telegraph their plays. I mean, I feel like they announced louder than they ever did with Zach Banner that Broderick Jones was eligible. Obviously, they're going to run the football. Yeah. Like, when they're in shotgun, there's no play action. After last week when Najee and Warren came alive at the end, surely you'd see some play action. I think there was 2 play action passes in the whole first half, or it might have been 2 of the whole game, right? I lost track of counting toward the end, but I remember hearing that stat thrown out somewhere. 2 play action passes from a run, like I just, especially with what Connor Hayward did last week, it's unfathomable to me. I don't understand it. And if Darnell Washington is not the guy or not ready, and Pat Freeman's injured, I'm sorry, you are not going to get away with. I know I talked about it when we did TDU for the weekend about the dumb idea, or 2 weeks ago when we talked about trading for a tight end, and I said how stupid that was because they don't use them.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. But if Pat Freemuth is going to be out and Darnell Washington isn't the guy, you need someone to help Rodney Williams and to help Connor Hayward, because Rodney Williams doesn't have the experience and probably doesn't have the pedigree, for as much as I think he's a cool fan favorite and a practice squad icon. We seem to have one of them every year. But we need someone else that can do something there to help out this offense. But then I also sit there, I'm like, are they even going to be schemed properly? Because they can't use Calvin Austin. I said that as one of my takeaways. Calvin Austin could have been a real weapon this game. You saw it with one of the runs that he had. If you look back at what he did against the Raiders, he was the one thing that we talked about on the weekend. He was the one thing this defense was not prepared for. Did you see him? Barely.
There was one play with the flag, the penalty flag. That's about it. You saw him in a reverse. You saw at the goal line, 2nd and 6, and you saw Connor Hayward get the ball. And I was like, it's almost a cool play if they blocked it, but they didn't block it. It didn't work. But honestly, like, you don't know what to expect if it is. Because Canada's offense is so poor and they're rated like 32nd or 31st in everything the last 3 years, and they haven't done anything in 3 years, you don't know if it is overly just the offense or is it the people in the offense too. Kenny didn't play the game.
55 games
without 400 yards.
Over 400 yards.
Pretty bad.
They had 199 yards on offense today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like total calculation before you start counting back things like, the turnovers and, like sacks and stuff like that. Like, and the sad thing else, the frustrating part, I actually think Kenny looked better in the second quarter than he has looked almost all season. And I think he was ready to have a really big third quarter, not necessarily fourth quarter.
That's why it's frustrating with the refs, because they talk about this, loading or weight on the quarterback. If any time that was going to be a penalty, you throw that flag, right? I'm not a big fan of that penalty anyway.
No, I'm not either. I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll just say that bit. I don't really get that. A tackle's a tackle. Like, right. I mean, it's a bit like what Quan said the other week, right? Like, the weight. Like, if you hit a guy, you hit a guy. Like, right. It's contact sport, mate. Like, that's what it is. But
if they're going to call
I don't like the penalty either, but I agree with you. Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency.
If they're going to call it, you call it, and he gets injured, and you can see the bloke. It might have been Adam Gotsis. I think it was Adam Gotsis.
It was Gotsis. Yeah,
he like tackled down, and he knows how to play rugby or whatever. So he went down, and you could see it. You could see all the weight. Cameron Hayward got called that for 1 year, 2 years ago, or last year, or something like that, and it was awful. He kind of rolled over him. You could see the pressure of the guy doing it, and there was still no flag. You could see that when Keanu Neal tackled Trevor Lawrence, and there was around the hips, and it was like a bang play, and that was flagged. So the refs got involved. Kenny gets injured. Trubisky comes out. It was all just a recipe for disaster. Trubisky's not ready as a backup quarterback. And look, can we just say
ready? I don't think he belongs in the league.
So I want to say one thing. For everyone in the comments or around Twitterverse, however far this goes, Mason Rudolph wasn't able to go in. Wasn't able to. A lot of my guys in my chat were like, "Can we put Mason?" And then look, I'm not shouting, not saying you're a bad fan or anything like that. He just wasn't able to. They designated him to be third quarterback so that if he gets injured, then he's in, right? But however, in that rule means if your second quarterback struggles, then you're stuffed. You're absolutely
unless you designate him to have a hat outside of that rule, right?
Right, and they didn't do that, so he's inactive. So it makes no sense. And
so that's interesting. I want to bring it up this week. If Kenny Pickett's 50-50, I think they have to have all three active for game day this week.
Yeah, probably. Or it depends because it depends. Or then I guess.
And here's the other thing. I was going to do a separate video on it. I might still. Do you think, with a short week, that Tomlin at halftime was like, "See how you feel. If you're not feeling 100, I know that they're not meant to go out if they're not feeling 100 anyway, but we all know that they do go out there. Whether he's gone, Kenny, let this one go. Don't get any worse. Let's focus on the Titans." Like, do you think they'd already penciled in their mind that it was going to be a tough game? Like, I know that's what a lot of fans will say. That's not Tomlin. That's not the Steelers. But it's professional football. They've got a season to play. In many other sports, people just would have sat that out. I just wonder. Like, that's all. That, and the same thing applies if, let's say, Kenny's 50-50 come Thursday. Whether it's like a sit this one out, Kenny, because we've got to think about the rest of the season here. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if there's a bit of management going on here, because it's not Ben Roethlisberger like a veteran. He's not the size of Ben. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but.
Well, there's two trains of thought. There's one saying, yes, they're going to hold him out. So then you'd hope you could win a game with Trubisky. And the game was like 9-6 or 9-3, right? You'd hope you could win a game like that
with that defense, and the running game as good as it's. The running game has improved.
So that was maybe the hope for that. And the other one was maybe he couldn't play, and then they would rather see if he could play, then he'd go out there and just ball and see what happens to win the game. Like come back Kenny Pickett. But in regardless, I think you go with the quarterback number 2, thinking you can win the game and scrape away with a 13-9, 14-9 victory. Didn't happen. They got the touchdown and the two different two scores in front, and Trubisky looked friggin' terrible until the end because it was garbage time. The run game looked really bad. Offensive line looked bad. Everything looked bad.
You know what I don't understand as well with that? I don't understand. There's that criticism, which I think is unfounded, that Kenny doesn't look down the field enough. Mitch never looks at the guys in the short passing game. He never. I don't think I can't recall. Maybe there was one I missed in the second half because I was so frustrated in the second half. I feel like it was a blur.
He checked
but I never see the short passing to Najee or Warren. You just don't see it.
Well, and even the short passing he did near the end of the fourth quarter was check downs, and there wasn't even.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. That's garbage. That's him padding the stats. Like, I don't.
It wasn't.
That's not.
It wasn't designed to get an actual first down. Like none of this offense is designed to get first downs. Let's be real. It really isn't. It's back shoulder pass.
You wonder what it's designed for, because that's the goal of offense.
This is why we are so frustrated, because it's like we're just stuck with it now. The whole season we're stuck with the Canada offense. We can't change it.
At this point, I mean, I'm being a little bit dramatic. It's not like maybe 4 or 5 games time we could say this, but like, cut down on the amount of offensive guys on the roster and just get more defensive guys in, because they're the guys that are seeing the field, and just punt the football back and hope for a defensive score. Because I mean, 10 points.
Do that. Yeah.
Huh? Do you know what I'm saying? Like 10 points. Highsmith and TJ scored 14 points against the Browns.
Well, isn't it like Army or someone just only run the ball? They don't pass. Isn't it someone like that in college? I know what you mean. It's just, look, the fan base is entitled to be frustrated. I understand that. But I think it's going to be a long season. The only thing is we're just seeing the same problems. The thing I can't figure out is they can't get momentum. Because next week they're going to beat the Titans, and then they'll be 5-3. So I don't know what the actual Jags are a good team. They're an okay team. They're not the greatest team, though.
You know, that thing that annoys me, though, is like, I don't think they would have felt this cranky if they'd lost last week. I feel cranky that they lost this week because they were at home and they could have won that game. I say they could have won it, but like the product that we saw on the field shows that they were never going to win it, and they were lucky not to be beat 30-10, 40-10. Seriously.
There were times when you're like, okay, can Trubisky go down the field and get a TD? No, they can't. They just can't. Like, there's no real like cool answer. Their answer is no. They just can't go down.
Surely Mason Rudolph. Surely they consider Mason.
You'd have to. At this point, you'd have to. Like, you'd have to go, okay, Trubisky.
Surely Tomlin's got to sit there and go, look, I haven't sacked Canada. I've got to do something to break the mold. Like, something's got to break. We need a circuit breaker, you know?
Something even to the point that Rudolph, not the best either, but he's had start experience. He had some good drives back in the day when Ben was out. They've won games. He's been playing football for a long time. It's been a long time. Give him a chance. Still, Nation hasn't seen this quarterback to play just yet. How bad can it get? You know Trubisky right now. You know the offense. So I think you swap them. I think you rest Kenny, you play Rudolph, and you give the third down quarterback to Trubisky. Like, yeah, you kind of have to. But the Steelers won't. They will either play Kenny, like you said, or rest him near the end, and they'll play Trubisky, and next minute we have the same thing. We'll win the game 13-10, or we'll lose the game 35-17.
Oh, we're going to get obliterated next week. If Mitch Trubisky plays, we're going to get obliterated.
And they got, is it Will Levis that played today? Got
Will Levis, 4 touchdowns, 2 to Dion. I think it was 2 or 3 to Dion.
Derrick Henry, Hopkins, Titans are kind of like an average team, but they'll fire up. Like
3 to Hopkins. Yeah,
if we come out flat with Trubisky like this, it's just, dude, nothing's working. The screen games aren't working. The running game isn't working. They're projecting the plays, like you said, like when you come out in shotgun, you see a pass or whatever. When you see Jones out there, you know it's going to be a run. You see Darnell, you know it's going to be a run. Nothing's working. Like, and it's to the point, like, where's the personnel decisions? Where is the overall game plan that you had against the Ravens and against the Rams? And then Jaguars come in. I actually thought the other teams were harder. I thought the Rams and Ravens were a harder team than the Jaguars, to be honest. And
I don't think the Jaguars had a good game. I don't. No. I think that's why I say this could have been 30+10 because I don't think the Jaguars played that well today. I think they played below themselves. Like, we criticize the Steelers for playing down to opposition. I think they played down to us.
They got very lucky.
As awful as that is for me to have to say that about this team, and it tells you everything you need to know because of how much I believe in the potential of this franchise, and as a fan and as a long fan, like I just, quite honestly, I do feel like they played down to us. And I think the scoreline flattered us.
And they only lost by 10. It's like, dude, they could have won that game and then stuck away with it. But I don't know what this team needs. We've been talking about this ever since we've been doing podcasts. I understand people will say fire Tomlin, that kind of stuff. I get that. You can scream all you want to. It's up to you. Whatever. Yeah. Cool. I don't care. I'm sticking by Tomlin because I've been following him since 2002, since we had never had a losing season. I don't know if the Steelers need a losing season. I'm not hoping for that, but I don't know if they need a refresher. I don't know if the organization needs to have someone come in and clean house and really start from brand new and see how we go. I don't know. But you win these games versus Browns, versus Ravens and Rams, and then next minute you can't play good football against the Jags, come into your house with Debo Harris and Aaron Smith and the other 2 blokes that were inducted, Ray Mansfield and the other bloke, I forgot his name, but you're like, why aren't you fired up? I don't know. And also there was times where the Jaguars stole the terrible towel, and how is that not unsportsmanlike conduct? DJ got the fine for that and also got a penalty. Why isn't a Jaguars player stealing a towel or using the towel as a taunting apparatus to get?
I agree. That's a very fair point.
Like, these things make me. I get angry today, and tomorrow I won't be, because it actually like, this sounds funny. It annoys me how angry I get because I don't care. I care, but I don't care. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've
you care, but it's not going to ruin your life.
No, I just want to move on sometimes and just see what happens. But like, at the same time, you're just like, why did they flag that point? Why do they give Trevor so much stuff? Why do they flag the field goal that Chris Boswell kicked 55-yarder?
I know.
Through the sticks, mate. And then you think, why did Tomlin go for it? Because he trusts Boswell. And if he would have got it, it would have been fantastic. But he missed it. Could have been a 9-6 game. It's all these little things that mold into one football game. And you go, why?
I'm gonna say something that I feel. I've got a hunch that this is a good barometer or a good perspective for how a lot of fans are feeling, even if they don't fully realize it. But when they listen to it, hopefully they do. A couple of weeks back, I said that a lot of the frustration was because it had almost become existential with the Steelers. Like, because we've had such disappointment the last couple of years that we felt like every little mistake was going to be the statement or the conclusion for the rest of the season. And I kind of think the same thing goes a little bit here, where after today's game, you sit there and it's a bit of like a reality check in that this team is going to be lucky to probably be 9-8 if play continues this way. And things will be very different. Kenny could come back this week feeling fit, or come back the following week, feel fit, be good in the first half. Things just change. Everything clicks. I actually think a game or two where he can watch from the sidelines might be beneficial for him to see what defenses are doing and just refresh and recharge a little bit, particularly after what we saw of him coming out of the bye. But I feel like as Steel fans, you're sitting there and you're going, all right, they've played 7 games now. What's going to change? Like, you just have this feeling like nothing's going to change. So then we're going to sit there for another 10 games and watch the same crap, which is not just annoying to watch for 3 hours and for you and I to wake up at 4 a.m. and watch it, but it's also like, well, it's almost a bit like, what's the point if they're going to play like this? Because they're not really fighting for anything, you know? And I think as Steel fans, we'll always watch the team. We always want the team to do well. But you sit back there and you go, what's the end goal here?
They haven't really lost a game where they've played a good football game in a long time.
Yeah. And the other thing I think about too is if this is what your ceiling is going to be, or this is what your prospects for the season are, then play the young guys. Like Herbie Gover Golden. Porter's the number 1 cornerback listed. Broderick Jones is there. If Darnell Washington's not it, then he's not it. Find someone else. But I think you've got to, same with Calvin Austin, and same with Pickens. Pickens becomes your number 1 wide receiver, or equal number 1 with Deontay. If this is what your ceiling is on the season, and people sit there and go, but Matt, we're 4-3, it's not even 500. I don't care. This team looks like it will struggle to get to 9-8 right now.
Yeah, well, to me, I'm kind of like, I do hope for the better, but there is a
same. I hope for the better. I'm just ready to expect the worst.
Yeah, there's a certain point I just can't figure out why they give us 2 games in a row and then play absolute duck eggs. I can't figure that point out. There's no consistency in the team. That's the point I can't figure out. How you give us such, good play near the end, defensive play with the Rams, Ravens, and then nothing. Then we're back to square one. And the injuries happened. Minka went out.
It's really hard though, because the defense is expected to win the game and play the majority of the snaps week in, week out. And I just think that's not. One of the journalists asked it really well. I think they asked it of TJ or Mitch, was like, is it sustainable for the defense to come out and win you guys each game, or to hold the team to a low score for you guys to be able to come back in the fourth quarter? And that's exactly the right question to ask. I was literally thinking about it right after the game, and then I heard it asked. I was thrilled. And the response was, oh, well, maybe we just all have to perform better and better execute. And I'm like, well, stop saying it and do it.
Well, that's the point of like the media, right? You kind of want to just hear Matt Canada say it was my effing fault.
No, he will never say that.
I know, but that's what you want to kind of hear. Like, it was my effing fault. I'm terrible. I'm going to check out. I
don't even care if he didn't say I want to check out, but like people like, oh, you got to think about the human, and you forget about the human. And even Kenny said that in an interview in the last 2 weeks. And I'm sitting there going, well, act like a human, not a robot, and take accountability for it. Because Tomlin says I've got to be better. Why doesn't Matt Canada say I've got to be better?
Yeah, I think I was getting a bit like, I think I was kind of over the fire stuff with Matt because I felt a bit bad for him, but I don't know. It's the same point. If it is that bad, then you have to do better. But it's also coming down to the ownership too. Like the owners probably should have moved on from him before the bye. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I said in the takeaway show, Art Rooney II said to everyone when the off-season before we drafted Najee Harris, or when the weeks leading up to drafting Najee Harris, said after 2019 and 2020, after 2020, said, we are going to fix the run game. This is a franchise that is built on defense and the run game. And the run game is atrocious. And they have a 1-2 punch that should be at least middle of the pack in the league, maybe 20 out of 32. They're nowhere near it. And an average offensive coordinator in this league can scheme those two to play, right? Especially when you've got a quarterback who's played literally 17 games, 16 and a half games, and you've got Trubisky that can't play. You've got to be able to lean on the run game. And it's just not there.
The thing is, they don't even have like a plan for a third down run back or anything like that. They never like.
Yeah, because Canada can't scheme him because he doesn't even know what to do with Calvin Austin.
But the thing is crazy because you'll get a fan say, why is number 48 there good when it would be okay? I'm going to good his name, by the way. Why is he returning kicks? Will he ever run the ball? And you could make a bet with them and say no. And you'd win that bet because he never saw the field. Not saying he's the best guy out there, but you never see anything different. It's always exactly the same. And I guess the same has been working to get us to 4-3, and I'm cool with that. I like that. But in the losses, they do feel like this team should be 0-7. They do feel really bad.
And what I find also frustrating is any other team that's backup comes in. Look at Will Levis today. He came in and he scored 4 touchdowns. Look at Huntley when he plays for the Ravens. Like any other team, when you have Mitch just like running around the backfield. Because I don't want to get sacked right now and end up with minus yardage, I'm going to throw an interception instead. Now, in fairness, the last interception he threw was trying to it was garbage.
It's garbage. Right?
Not the same thing, but he had 2 or 3 other ones that should have been interceptions that weren't, right? So it's not like it's a saving grace. I mean, if it doesn't pass, the thing is, and I found maybe I've got this built-in frustration from when I went to the Bills game in 2019 and I watched Duck play and I knew that Mason was better and everyone knew that Mason was better. Even if you love Duck, the guy standing next to me had the Duck callers and everything, had hunting gear on the works. And even they said, we love Duck, but we all know Mason should be playing. So maybe I've got residual resentment and frustration and anger that I flew all the way to the other side of the world to watch Duck Hodges throw the game away and the season's prospect against the Bills. However, in that game, they couldn't run the football either. So, that was also a problem. But my bigger point is, when is it, if you can't pass the eye test of a fan, no matter how experienced, casual they are, or how much they watch, how much they don't, if you snip it on and you go, that looks crap on TV. If the average fan can think that, how do you sit in a film? How do you sit in an organization and watch hours of film of it? Now, I get you're in it, so you might say, oh, it's like, it's actually working better. It's just this little misbit. It's kind of like when your friend's in a relationship that's, is not working or it's going to be over. And it's a matter of time. And you can't say anything completely. You can try and push them along on the way.
You know what you do?
And then you wait till it's over and then you go, oh my God, it's crap. Well, the point is that this is like taking a video of them interacting and showing them the video and saying, this is how bad it is between you two, right? And most people sit there and go, oh, either something drastically has to change or this is it, this is over. That's what's happening with this offense. This has to change or it's over. It's had time to change. I don't think it's changing, and we're going to see that manifest itself, and they're going to throw away another important AFC game on Thursday night, and it is going to suck. And people will say, Matt, you're being really negative, and we've got some awesome fans that come in our chat and are always positive. I will cheer on the black and gold. I will continue waking up at 4 a.m. because that's what I'll do, and I believe in to celebrate the good times, you've got to go through the tough times. But we all know what's going on.
Yeah, we do.
Simple as that.
The offense sucks.
And I have to be vocal about it. For a year, I shut my mouth in the last year of Big Ben because I wanted to honor Big Ben and I wanted to respect Big Ben and everything he'd done with the franchise. But Mark, you can tell the listeners, how often did I come to you before we did a show or after we do a show and just go, mate, like this isn't it?
It's not. It hasn't been it for ages. It just hasn't. They just haven't been clicking on all cylinders for a while. And that's why I think it's so crazy to me that we can win a few and then just lay a duck egg. Because this Thursday, I'll be cheering for them to win. You will be too. But it's like this offense does not work. It just doesn't. It's on the players. It's on everyone. we keep saying, we've said this like 6 times or 9 times or 10 times in 3 years. So I'm not saying to fire anyone, but like, dude, this is like, like I said before, we haven't lost a game where we were a good team. Like we haven't been, there was a shootout 31-30. I was, oh my goodness, was this close to winning? Crazy, dude. Oh, we'll get it next week. No, they were bad. They were really bad. Like what we get 200 yards on the offense or something?
Not even 199, mate.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's terrible. It's got here 261, but that might have been garbage time. That was obviously garbage time because there's no way that Trubisky got 138. Like he's just a bad quarterback, and it comes back to everyone. Like I just think that the team has to play better, and it sucks for players like
it was 199. How about this? I know it was 199 with 2 minutes to go because that's when I started the takeaway.
Okay.
199. But who cares after that? They'd already lost the game. They were down by 2 scores.
Oh,
2
game's
minutes
over.
to go and like one timeout. Like it doesn't matter. That means nothing.
Yeah, they got 4.9 average for passing the ball is just ridiculous.
And even if they scored and they got the onside kick, I wouldn't trust them to go down and score again.
No. Here's one thing I want to bring up too. Did you see Mason Cole snapping the football near the end when he was still having a chance to win? Did you see that?
I put out a video 2 weeks ago that talked about trading Troops Okorafor for David Andrews from the Patriots. Just do it. Just get
Mason Cole was snapping the football as low as you could ever think. It was the lowest snap I think I've seen in a where it was noticeable. You don't normally notice that. Happened 5 times in a row in shotgun, and Trubisky had to lean down to get it. Old man Trubisky, like it was just awful to watch. Like it's just such a like night and day from the Rams. How I thought that was a really great win since they beat the Raiders. To this game, and I was like, the refs got involved and Trubisky was playing. Like, what is this franchise, bro? Hey, step, bro. Like we are not like how are we not like a good team like the Cowboys who can beat someone 40 to something? Do you know what I mean? Where is that? Where is it gone? It's gone. It's just not here. It's not.
And also, did Denver actually? I had to go to a work meeting.
Yeah,
so
Denver won. They won.
So Denver can beat Kansas City, and we can't beat the Jacksonville Jaguars after going away and beating the Rams. I mean, the Rams got thrashed today by the Cowboys, but
like if we score points offense, we have a game. We just can never have a game like this.
The Steelers aren't playing. See, Mark, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna be devil's advocate. I'm gonna ask a couple of questions, right? Just humor me. How many phases are there in the NFL of football?
3.
Right. Which is the Steelers' best phase, would you say, right now? Number 1 phase. Go.
Oh, I could even say teams. I could say teams.
Exactly.
Teams.
That's the point. No, teams, right?
Teams.
Second best phase?
Defense.
Correct. Both answers. I've asked you 3 questions. All 3 out of 3 of what I expect you to say. The Steelers are not playing 3-phase football. The Steelers are forgetting a really important phase, which is usually the phase that most teams score points with. Just saying. Like,
I thought team was really good. I was giving a shout out to Pierre. He's a really good gunner, and so is Miles Boykin. We haven't got Boykin. We haven't got teams. The way he runs in the field is playing.
Something to cheer about. Next week I'm going to focus on who's playing gunner.
There was also Presley Harvin.
Isn't it amazing? We've got great gunners without having a gunner on the team anymore.
Gunners now on the Giants, but the punting game wasn't the best. You can't
that kick from Harvin. That's like talk about stepping up in the important moments. That was out of all the kicks, that was not the kick to.
Here's one for you. Have we lost our edge at home?
Yeah.
Fortress Pittsburgh Heinz Field.
Yep.
Have we lost it? I think we have to.
Yep.
Are we better away? We won against the Vegas Raiders and the Rams, and we can't win at home?
We're better on the West Coast.
Kenny's better on the West Coast than he is at home? What is happening, man? What is going on? This is such a weird time. You know what, though? I was talking to my mate, Gritty.
About Mitch as well. I would just say Mitch as well, because Mitch won away in the Bengals last year, and then he can't play at home. He couldn't play against the Jets, couldn't play against the Ravens last year, couldn't play today. Like, he can't play at home.
Mitch beat the
Bengals.
Did he beat the Bucks? Bengals? Oh.
Yeah, remember he beat the Bengals last year?
Oh, the first game. Oh, dude.
Off the back of their Super Bowl. He beat the Bengals in Cincy.
You can't give that to Mitch. They missed a field goal. You give that to Minka. Like that's the minker.
I know, but I'm just saying. Technically, it's on Mitch Trubisky's record.
Yeah, fair call. I was gonna say I was talking to my mate.
Sorry,
Grady
you're
does,
talking to your mate.
yeah, he does. Grady does Detroit Lions Syndicate. Derek, right? And since 2002, as a fan being my age or our age, we've never had this, I guess, losing culture. Like we just haven't. It's been, I guess you can call it mediocre or average or 11 wins, this and this, but we've never had this where we're this bad. Like we're really this bad because we always had Ben to kind of save us too. So it's a really
Especially
weird experience.
In 2019, because at least in 2019 you sat there and you're like, well, Big Ben was meant to play this year. We don't really have a backup. It is what it is.
Yeah, that was like,
it's like, oh, it'll be better next year. You know,
yeah, it should be right, mate. And then, then you had
exactly that's what it was. It was she'll be right, mate. But now, like, I don't know.
Well, we said it was going to be, is it Canada or Ben? Then we said, is it Canada and Kenny? Then now we're saying, is it Canada and Trubisky? Like we don't. Now it's like it has to be someone. Like you haven't tried Rudolph yet. Give him a crack.
Would be so much better under a proper offensive coordinator. I feel like, and the Steelers have got to get a reality check on this as a franchise. This is like the expecting Mason to develop without a quarterbacks coach. You know, like this goes down in that. They've been negligent when it comes to offense since 2017. I feel like when the Jags smacked us in that AFC divisional round, I feel like that's a real turning point for the franchise. I feel like things have been different since then.
Yeah, I don't know when are we going to start wrapping up soon? Because I was going to give final thoughts, but I'm just so frustrated. I don't know what are we doing here.
Yeah. I know you're keen to get down to the pub and watch the Soros away.
I just want to give like some final thoughts, anyways.
Give some final thoughts, and then
sorry to end it too early, but I just want to like.
No, it's a good idea because you and I could keep talking about this. For
we could go around in circles. To me, it comes down to Trubisky is terrible. The offense is awful. It's the exact same. You need a quarterback like Kenny in there to give you half a chance. And I think this game coming down to it, the refs got highly involved in certain situations that gave the Jags more of a chance to win, like they needed it. But the Jaguars almost threw the game away, and you had Kazi run out a pick at the 5-yard line. And then they went, that's it. In a nutshell, they got the pick at the 5-yard line or 2-yard line. They went 98 yards for a touchdown. Like, how do you get that? Was it a field goal or field goal?
That was the point. They only kicked a field goal. They went 98 yards and they still couldn't get in the end zone.
They got the field goal, right?
Yeah, but who cares? You went 98 yards.
But how does that work though? So you get an interception, you run out of bounds, you get that 98 yards, and then the rest of the game is like you can't play football. Like it is.
Like
it is
against
very.
The 49ers. Remember to end the first half of the 49ers? They went down the field. Kenny had that awesome 74-yard, 72-yard drive, and they scored the TD. And they came out in the second half, and it's like they forgot how to play offense again.
It's almost like every game we just flip a coin. Are we going to play good today?
Do you know what it feels like? And I shouldn't. I mean this when I say this analogy, I mean it with all due respect. But it's a bit like the Steelers' offense is in like a coma, and they wake up temporarily, and then they slip back into the coma. Like it's just there's no like they have this breakout, and you see some signs of life, and then like they slip back into it, and it's just dormant again.
Well, they're just doing the some. It's not based on. It's so weird because the 90-yard play was a pretty good play to get down there, and then you couldn't put anything else together. But and also the first pass of the game, DJ should have had that, and maybe Kenny should have put it on the money more. And then you get like
but if you actually go back and look at that, it wasn't the best pass, but Deontay could have.
No, it wasn't.
Deontay could have had a better effort. Like that he should have caught that ball.
And then why are you getting Connor Hayward in a tight end screen or reverse he had and 5 yards out? It just doesn't work in this offense. And we know, like, if you put all the complaints in one big video, it would go forever about how bad this team is. But then sometimes they play some good football and sneak away and we feel good. It's like maybe it's just putting a Band-Aid on a bad team. You know, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I think Trubisky starts, I'm going to be very frustrated. They have to just surprise the fan base, start Rudolph.
I haven't ever done this as a Steelers fan. If they start Trubisky, I'm putting money on the Titans. 13 plus.
Could be a chance.
I got to have some positive out.
You know, I always talk about the other team can't score points with the quarterback. You can't score points with Trubisky. You can't. They got one TD, but that was like two Jaguars collided, and Pickens was like, "Hey mate, see you later." TD. You just can't score point.
Yeah. If Pickens wasn't skillful and big and agile, no touchdowns for Trubisky today. No.
Like he must be like laying in bed going, "I'm a terrible quarterback." Like you must be. Like you must be self. You can't be laying there going, "Man, I played good today."
Like you can't. How bad must you be if you're Mason? You're lying there going,
"Dude, give him a shot. We don't know."
Mason's like, how bad does he have to be before I get a?
When's the last time that Mason Rudolph played a game? Started a game?
Detroit.
Like what? 3 years ago? Why can't we see him again? I don't understand. You play Rudolph. You play Rudolph this week. If Kenny's out, you play Rudolph and see what happens. If
Rudolph will be better as a starter than coming off the bench.
You got to play him. People talk about how crap he is, but he haven't seen him for a year.
I reckon again, it's like when they stick to their draft picks. They've re-signed Mitch for all this money, and they can't afford Mason to upshow him. They can't.
It's just insane. If
this is like Mason will 100% play better.
This is indoor, not indoor pickleball, indoor NFL Steelers politics where they can't do that because of these certain reasons. That's wrong. It's wrong. If they can't fire Matt Canada
that's how they run it, man.
Yeah, if they can't fire
how many times does Dan McCullers continuing to get a roster spot? How many times? Like, there's several players that this franchise has kept in the mix because they drafted them.
It is true because if they can't get rid of Canada because of the Steelers way or these things, or they won't play Rudolph because they need to play this guy.
Loudermilk should be cut. He's a practice squad player. Put him on the practice squad or cut him.
All right, let's end on a positive, bro. What's one positive you had? One. Just one.
That we haven't got at the time of you and I putting this show out. We don't know whether Kenny Pickett's actually broken a rib or not. So that's a real positive for me. And the other positive is that Pickens got something that he can fire back at the Jags. And the other positive is that Deontay Johnson isn't injured. I was a bit worried when he went off the field. And I'm just hoping that Minka hasn't hurt his hamstring. And the big positive is at least Cameron Hayward will be back in this defense soon. So that'll help him.
Yeah, even while you prolong that, I really can't think of a positive. So you've said enough for me. I legit can't think of a positive. I think you've seen enough from Trubisky. Like, I guess we're right on him. I guess the Steel Nation is right because Canada sucks and he sucks too. So, but you know what? No, I'm going to I think Miles Boykin was my best positive. He's a great gunner. He's fantastic. And Chris Boswell, fantastic.
Yeah, Bos gets it.
Boswell, he should not be allowed to do 61-yard kicks. His record is tarnished this year for 15, 16 or something.
Really?
Yeah. You know, he even shared a post. Yeah, he's got one missing kick. He shared a post of that line on his Instagram. Come on, man. This team needs, I don't know what it needs. It needs something. It needs some heart.
Needs some change.
It might happen at the end of the year. We could see it. Like, you might see Tomlin just go, that's my last year. You might see Canada say, walk away. You don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea.
Well, I could see Tomlin saying this next season will be my last year. I could see him doing that. That's
what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Like I don't think he'd just leave after this.
Yeah, they might find someone to then, be an offensive coordinator to come in after, and then Tomlin's like, halfway through.
Okay, well that's a good call. I don't know about you, but it also depends on who's available. But for me, the next head coach has to be an offensive mind. I don't want an offensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, let's hope that Tomlin can pull it out. Let's hope they can finish 9-8, scrape near the playoffs, get rid of some more dead wood, including Mitch Trubisky and Matt Canada, and we do it all again in 2000.
I love a playoff. Like a playoff chance for this team would be fun to watch. Just one game with Kenny and those guys, But
as long as Mason Cole doesn't snap it at his feet.
Dude, go back and watch that. 5 in a row was right down near the dirt. Like, I thought he was playing. What's the word? Is it Bocky when is it Bocky where they hit that little thing? Bocce. Like, what is going on, mate?
He's doing the reverse bowling technique.
Yeah. just tunnel ball. Like, what is this? Like, anyone could put back Christian 46 back there. He could do it. Oh, mate. I'm just, Great show. Great. I feel good.
I needed that therapy session.
I got worse near the end. The more we talk, I got worse.
Yeah, you came in. You said, I'm only talking positive. And
the more I thought about it, the worse it got. I was like, fuck.
You're like a pit viper then. You're just like, do.
Yeah, we're bad. We're bad.
Yeah.
We're bad.
All right. Fire Canada. Fire the lot of them. As always.
Go Steelers. Here we go.